Hello, and welcome to Learning English Through Questions. This is part of our series, Getting to Know Each Other. The idea here is simple. We ask one question at a time, and through the answers, you can learn new vocabulary and maybe even discover something new about yourself. So let's get started with today's question. It's a common one, but it can reveal a lot about someone's family life. The question is, do you have siblings? Think about that for a moment. Siblings. That means brothers and sisters. So the question is asking if you have any brothers or sisters. Let's explore some possible answers and the vocabulary that comes with them. If you have one brother and one sister, you could say, yes, I have two siblings, a brother and a sister. Or more simply, yes, I have a brother and a sister. If you are the only child, meaning you have no brothers or sisters, you would say, no, I don't have any siblings. I'm an only child. The phrase only child is very useful here. What if you have many siblings? You might say, yes, I have a lot of siblings. Or, to be more specific, yes, I have 4 siblings. If you want to be very descriptive, you could say, yes, I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. Let's think about the implications of having siblings. For many people, growing up with siblings means always having someone to play with. It can mean sharing toys, sharing rooms, and sometimes, as many of us know, arguing. But it also means having built-in friends, people who understand your family history, your parents, and your childhood in a way that no one else can. Imagine a childhood with siblings. There's the constant buzz of activity. Someone is always there to tag you in a game of tag, or to whisper secrets to you under the covers at night. There's the shared experience of family holidays, of learning to ride a bike with a brother or sister cheering you on, or perhaps pushing you down a hill. It can also mean learning valuable social skills. You learn to negotiate, to compromise, and to stand up for yourself. You learn about loyalty and about forgiveness. Siblings can be your first teachers, your first rivals, and your lifelong companions. Consider the dynamic. If you are the eldest sibling, you might have felt a sense of responsibility from a young age. You might have been the one to set an example, or to help your parents look after the younger ones. You might have been the one who got blamed for things, even if it wasn't entirely your fault, just because you were the oldest. If you were the youngest, you might have had a different experience. Perhaps you always felt a bit protected, or maybe you were the one who always had to catch up. You might have looked up to your older siblings, imitating them, or perhaps rebelling against their influence. And what about being the middle child? This position is often described as being the peacemaker, or sometimes the one who feels overlooked. You might have had to fight for attention, or you might have found your niche by being independent. The middle child experience is unique, a blend of the eldest's responsibility and the youngest's freedom. Some people have twins. Being a twin is a very special relationship. Twins often share a unique bond, a connection that can last a lifetime. They might finish each other's sentences or have an uncanny understanding of what the other is thinking. It's like having a mirror image of yourself, but with a separate personality. Now let's think about the vocabulary. We've already used siblings, brothers and sisters. Only child, someone who has no brothers or sisters. Eldest, the oldest. Youngest, the youngest. Middle child, the child who is neither the oldest nor the youngest. Twins, either of two children born to the same mother on the same occasion. We can also talk about the relationship with siblings. Do you get along well with your siblings? If you get along well, you might say, yes, we're very close, or we have a great relationship. If you don't get along so well, you might say, we argue sometimes, or we have our differences. It's interesting to reflect on how siblings shape us. They are a part of our formative years, and their influence can extend far into adulthood. They are the people who know you when you were young, who remember embarrassing stories, and who can recall shared memories that no one else does. Even if you don't see your siblings often, there's often a deep connection that remains. It's a bond forged in shared experiences, in the unique environment of a family home. So, back to the question, do you have siblings? Take a moment to think about your own situation. Do you have brothers? Do you have sisters? Are you an only child? If you do have siblings, how many? What are their ages relative to you? Are you the eldest, the youngest, or somewhere in between? Maybe you have a very large family. Imagine growing up in a house filled with the laughter and noise of many children. It must be a very lively environment. Or perhaps you have just one sibling, a brother or a sister. That one person can still be a significant part of your life, a confidant, a playmate, or a rival. And if you are an only child, your experience is different, but no less rich. You might have had more individual attention from your parents, more space, and perhaps a different kind of independence. You might have formed strong friendships outside the family that filled a similar role to siblings. The question, do you have siblings, is more than just a demographic question. It opens up a conversation about family, about childhood, about relationships, and about the people who have shaped us. Let's consider a few more related words. Cousins. These are the children of your aunts and uncles. They're often considered like extended siblings, especially if you grew up near them. Aunts and uncles? These are the siblings of your parents. So when you think about your family, you might have siblings and you might have cousins. Both contribute to the tapestry of your family life. The experience of growing up with siblings can teach us a lot about life. It teaches us about sharing, about conflict resolution, and about unconditional love. Even when we fight, there's usually an underlying sense of connection. Think about a time you helped a sibling, or a time they helped you. These moments, big or small, build the foundation of that unique relationship. For some, their siblings are their best friends. For others, the relationship might be more distant, but the shared history is always there. So, to recap, the question for today is, do you have siblings? And we've explored what siblings are, brothers and sisters, different family structures, only child, one sibling, many siblings, twins, the roles within a family, eldest, youngest, middle child, and how we describe our relationships with siblings, close, argue, get along, and related family terms like cousins, aunts, and uncles. It's a simple question, but it leads to a wealth of personal stories and reflections. Whether you have one sibling or 10 or none at all, your family experience is unique and shapes who you are. Thank you for joining us today on Learning English Through Questions. We hope this episode has helped you expand your vocabulary and perhaps think a little more about your own family. Join us next time for another question in our Getting to Know Each Other series. Goodbye for now.